In this video, I will show you how to register pure components in SuperPro Designer process model. You can register a pure component by introducing a copy from your data bank or by simply creating a fresh new component just for the needs of your specific process model. To register pure components, go to the menu bar and select Tasks, Pure Components, Register Edit View Properties. This will open the component registration dialog box. Please note that in every SuperPro file, nitrogen, oxygen, and water are pre-registered by default. You can select the source of your component database from either Designer, User, or one of two other proprietary databases, Dipper and PPDS. You can also scroll through the list of components in Designer database by dragging the scroll bar, or search the component by its name by typing in the search box. Here I will search for biomass. Once the component which you search for is highlighted, you can either press the Enter key or double click over it or press the Register button to add it in the registered pure components. You can now view its properties either by double clicking over it or by pressing the View Edit Properties button. This will open the component property dialog box where you can view edit properties with various tabs such as IDs, where you can edit the component name, formula, etc. Constant physical properties tab for properties such as molecular weight, boiling point, etc. Temperature dependent properties tab for properties such as density, heat capacity, etc. Aqueous properties tab for environmental calculations. Economics tab to specify purchase price, selling price, and waste disposal cost for economic calculations. And finally, pollutant categories and comments tab. I will now add more components to our SuperPro process model. I will now add map, which is our final product in this process. Notice that map exists in my user database because I had already deposited it from a previous project. To add a component from the user database, select the source database as user from the drop-down menu. Then you will see the component which were previously deposited in the user database. Select map and press the Enter key. I will now create a new component called serum-free media to be used as the fermentation media in our process model. To create this new component, click the magic wand icon. This will open a new dialog box where you can enter the component name, CAS number, company ID, local name, formula, and trade name. I will name our new component as SF Media. Please note that when I enter the name of the new component, the same name is also copied to the other fields. If required, I can edit the other fields. For now, I will leave them as it is. You can also match the properties of the new component to an existing component in the Designer, User, or other database sources which you think would be the closest in its physical properties. I will match the properties of our media to glucose. To match the property of our component to glucose, you can either search for glucose in the drop-down menu by scrolling or type its name and selecting it after it is highlighted. You can now click OK to close this dialog box. If required, you can now double-click over the newly created component to edit few of its properties such as molecular weight, etc. For this example, I will change the molecular weight of our media to 1000. Click OK to close this dialog box. You can also deposit the SF media to the user database if you want this component to be available for you and other users to be used in other SuperPro projects. To deposit SF media in user database, change the source DB to user and select the component SF media. You will see that now deposit icon is now activated. Click on the deposit icon to deposit the SF media to the user database. Click OK to close the component registration dialog box. You can also share your user database file with other users or keep the database file on a central server where other users can access it. You can find the default location of the user database file or change its location from the data banks, availability, password, and location dialog box. You can also edit any of the component properties from the Process Explorer by clicking the Toggle Process Explorer button from the menu bar and then double-click on the pure component of your choice. Please note that any changes you make in the component properties will affect the registered copy of the component and not the original as kept in the source database. If you wish to change the local name of any of the pure components, you can rename it by visiting the menu bar and selecting Tasks, Pure Component, Rename. This will open a new dialog box where you can select the component you wish to rename from the drop-down list and change its local name from Rename to Field. If you wish to revert back the properties of any components to its original, you can do it by visiting the menu bar, Tasks, Pure Components, Update Properties from DB. Here you can select the component for which you want to revert back the properties to its original and click on the Update Pure Component Properties button. This will match the properties of the components to its original value as in the source DB. Similarly, if you wish to replace the original properties of any of the pure components to the current properties in the source DB, you can update it by selecting Tasks, Pure Components, Update Properties to DB. Here you can select the component of your choice and click on the Update Pure Component Properties button to propagate your changes to the source DB.